Monster Castle, paranormal, radio hound, Monster Castle, paranormal, digital radio, KTLK. Yeah, the Fringe FM.
Operation, asking for deliverance of just one girl, one girl to come cross my path, proceed on my roads. Dark angel descending from the sky, come to darken my nights. She wiped away the years I cried. Which way does this angel strike? Descending from the sky, come to darken my nights. She wiped away the years I cried. Which way does this angel? Said I have her, said I had her, said I want her, just don't need her. You receive what you crave, you still won't be satisfied. The question still rolls in my mind, yet I wait and leave it for false assumption. Want the company of depression, yeah now. Only one who answered the call. Lift I to my feet when my knees get to the fall. And it was just one girl. It was just one girl. So here I call. Dark angel descending from the sky, come to darken my nights. She wiped away the years I cried. Which way does this angel strike? Descending from the sky, come to darken my nights. She wiped away the years I cried. Which way does this angel strike now? Strike now, strike now, strike now, strike now, strike, strike. Title of your name. Dark angel descending from the
to your leader.
All right, groovy man. And we are back.
That wasn't 5 minutes, was it?
No, I'm gonna do the Elvis. What do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody's ready.
We're not live yet, right?
Oh, you are, sir. And now we're gonna do some Elvis Presley. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been waiting for this. Here we go. All right, yes, I am the Wolf Man. Oh yeah.
Slash
Okay.
Elvis.
Sitting all alone, please don't come around. At least please telephone. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Oh, baby, if I made you mad, something I might have said, please let's forget the past. The future looks bright ahead. Oh, don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me, don't make me feel this way. Come over here and love me, you know I want you to say. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Why should we be apart? I really love you, baby. Across my heart to the preacher, and let's say I do, then you know you have me. I know I have you too. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Oh yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Hey, what are you laughing at? I'm the king. Hey, come on. Hey, half the audience is laughing. Oh, what? Whoa, come on, man. I'm the king. What? Oh, man, I'm out of here, man.
You're awesome, Wolfman. You're great.
Well, thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Even though half the
Nobody
audience...
does it like the Wolf. That's all I got to say.
I think... yeah.
He almost had me believing that was an Elvis song.
That was me.
He was channeling Elvis, I think is what he was doing, actually.
Yeah.
He was coming in and out, because every now and then the Wolf would come out. That was the part that was out of tune. And then the tune part came in.
that was the channeling.
Okay. Oh yeah, that part I did wonder about. Now you've answered the question. Yeah.
Does space transform?
No.
Hey, I'm kind of anxious to hear another story from Janice. Janice, can you tell us something funny or something kind of weird or strange that's happened in the last year or two?
Something that happened to
you and
you.
your family?
Yes.
Now, she hasn't had the experiences I've had, but yeah, I'd like to hear it too. Why don't you tell them about? She's the one that took the picture of that thing at the tree. Let her tell you about that. Go ahead, Janice.
Okay. It was the day that I visited Boone's Cave with Alistar, and we had, already made our stop at the cave, and so we decided while we were there just to go ahead and hike the trail back to the parking lot. So we go down through there, and the mosquitoes are like eating us up. But we said, we're going to go. We're not going to turn around and go back. So we saw a sign about the tallest cottonwood tree in the east of the Mississippi. So we decided to go down to see that tree. Well, I had the camera, so I was doing the pictures. And Alistar was walking ahead of me, and so I decided to take pictures of the tree, and he had just walked up to the tree. He was just a few feet from it. So I take a picture, and then, of course, we take more pictures. When we got home, I downloaded the pictures off the SD card into the computer. And when it came to that picture of the cottonwood tree, my mouth just flew open, and I said, "Oh my God, what is this?" And so, of course, he heard me, and he come running in the room to look at it. And there we had caught that little tree spirit, just as plain as day. So I couldn't see him, though, when I took the picture. He showed up on the film, or on the picture. So we sent the picture to a couple of people that are really experts at what they do, and they checked it and could not find, that there was anything photoshopped or anything wrong with the digital camera or the memory card. So that was quite cool that I was one that got that picture.
Hey, and tell them that I'd ask that you be shown something.
Oh yeah, and when we were hiking there, and right before he went in the cave, he said, "Well, I hope you see something too." And he, kind of set it out into the blue. He said, "Show Janice something while we're here." Well, I didn't see it then, but I saw it later when I downloaded the picture or uploaded the picture. So that was quite an experience when I clicked on that picture and saw that. So that's the picture that you have. We've watermarked it so it couldn't be copied. And
Is it on our website?
I think.
Yeah, I sent it to Wolfman. Yeah.
Well, it's probably we don't have my spectacular wizard of what do we call him? He's a binary wizard. He's a digital shaman. It's Jeff the Gray, but we don't have him right now. He's been so busy with his work that he hasn't been able to update our website for a while. But it's on hashtag 47Talk, which we use on Twitter as our sort of chat room on Twitter, and it's also, I think I put it on Facebook too, on our Facebook.
Yeah, that's the only picture I've ever watermarked. The hundreds we've taken, and that's the only one I put a watermark on.
Can you tell us what it looks like on the radio?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, when you first see it, the little rounded part that's on the tree, you kind of almost, I know this sounds silly, but it reminds you of Casper, but not really. I mean, it's just initially, and then when you really look at it, it kind of looks like it was shape shifting, and the weird thing about it was Janice was moving behind me when she took the picture, so she was in motion, but the image itself not only looks like it's in motion, but standing still at the same time. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, and this is what I was told by somebody, that it wanted, really.
You're going to go out on a limb?
Yeah, go out on a limb. Hey, that's fun. Yeah, but to be honest, I just think that it wanted to reveal itself, and wanted me in the picture with it. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I think that's what happened. And I finally got some kind of proof. And Janice, and it didn't happen at the park. I didn't say anything at the park about wanting her to see something. But in my mind, you know how you think, and you go out and you let your thoughts out to the universe. For a couple of years, I've been kind of asking, hey, let Janice see something. Let Janice see something. And it finally happened. She's the one that took the picture. And so she's not a skeptic anymore.
That's like Eric and I. Eric, have you had an experience at all?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Are you an experiencer?
I gotta tell you about the tree spirits I seen. Shouldn't
Go
I?
ahead.
Don't you think, Eric?
Go for the tree spirits. Yeah,
because it's similar. Like your picture reminds me of my experience. I was following these what I thought
you told me about that.
were fireflies, and they weren't fireflies, and they were hanging around an old cemetery, and hanging around the corner of these woods and these trees, and I called it out, and one of the fireflies comes up to me, and it erupts into a 10-foot, like the size of a basketball or red orb. Yeah, and it was floating right in front of me.
Okay, that was a drinking night.
No, no, sir.
Go Becky Teppy.
No, I had a young child I was watching, and we were sitting outside by a campfire having some beers, but I wasn't drunk.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
How could I ever doubt anybody? After what I've experienced, how can I doubt anybody?
Like, even if I was drunk, to tell you the truth, if I get drunk enough that I hallucinate, I don't remember any of that the next day.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from if I get that drunk. Some of the shows, the after shows I've done, I don't remember even doing them.
Wow.
After a certain point, I'm done. I don't remember any of it. So
you're cool, man. You are real cool.
So if I see something, it's not when I was drunk. Because when I'm drunk, I don't remember anything. Honest to God.
We know.
I was ribbing you. I was ribbing you. I believe it. I mean, if you're serious, I believe you. I really. Here, I want to say something real quick. A guy sent me in a photo, an old man retired up in the mountains, and he and another guy were like recreating moonshiners. They had like a moonshine still or something. They were just fooling around, and he had this mist and stuff around him, and he was adamant that that he didn't mess with the film or anything like that. So I let my photography expert take a look at it, and she came back and said, "It looks cloned to me." I said, "Okay," and she explained why. And when I told him what she had said, he really got upset, and I felt sorry for him. He said, "I swear to God, I didn't do anything to that picture. This and that." And I told him, "Look, I believe you, even though she says that it looks cloned to her. Nobody bats 1,000, and she's not right all the time. Nobody is on anything. So if you say that, I believe you."
I believe him.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, didn't you call for the
Janice?
spirit? Or, he had his magic staff.
Oh yeah, but I mean, that's the way it is. And another thing I found out is people really have experienced at least one thing in their lives that they can't explain. I found that out on the writing site when I was, and that more people than you think have had experiences. They just, don't talk about them or whatever. But so,
I have not.
You have
Eric?
Now, who's this?
Eric did.
Darren.
Yeah, but we did cut off Eric a minute ago. Eric, did you want to finish what you were saying, sir?
No, I didn't. He just asked me if I was an experiencer, but I haven't actually experienced any ET type phenomena, but I did experience a UFO that was flying across the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, there you go.
I've actually got a videotape. It's about a 45-second tape. It was flying. There's where I live. It's in Shell Beach. Shell Beach has, or Avila Beach actually has, a Diablo nuclear power plant, and you're not allowed to fly planes over there or helicopters or anything. It's totally restricted. Right. So one night I'm looking out the window, on my bed, and I see a light appear out there, right over that area, and it starts to move towards where I'm at over the ocean, and there's no flight pattern. There's nothing that needs to be in that area ever. So as it's moving very slowly, and then at about 45 seconds, it just blinks out. Whatever it was, it just disappeared. So I'm kind of thinking that was probably something not from this planet, or maybe, it was on this planet, but not made by us, probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What you saw was out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Something mysterious. Wherever it came from.
UAP, as Hillary would say.
Yeah.
Hillary and Podesta.
Ah,
Their UAP stuff.
I'm gonna go eat some pizza. Okay, hold on.
Oh my God.
Stay out of the Virginia area, though. You don't want to be eating pizza over there.
No,
You've got the Pizzagate expert here.
Tiffany's asking if we've seen her telekinesis from the chat room.
Seen it
Yeah.
or felt?
Now, I'm not sure who she's directing.
What's she trying to convey?
I'm not sure who she's directing it to. I'm assuming Eric.
Okay, I could tell you. I could post in hashtag 47 talk. I'll look for it. But I was filming Tiffany at John Polk's house. I took a piece of paper and folded it in half and set it on the table. And she was telling me that her spirit energy or whatever energy she was feeling, it was heightened at John Polk's house for some reason. So first thing she did, actually, she took her hands, both hands, and put one hand over the top of one of my hand and the other hand underneath my hand and was moving them slowly back and forth over my hand. And I could literally feel energy going from my wrist through my palm, through my fingers. And then as she would go past my fingertips, it felt like they were being pinched. Wow. It was an obvious energy, and I'd never experienced that before. So then she takes this piece of paper that's on the table, and she starts moving her hand back and forth on the side of it, about, say, 4 or 5 inches away, back and forth, real fast. Wow. And you can't create wind. The way she was doing it, there was no wind, because I put my hand over there because I was trying to see, is she creating a wind here? There's no wind. It was all, John Polk says, you could show that to people, but they're just going to tell you it was wind. But I'm telling you right now, it was not wind. So she's moving her hand back and forth, and all of a sudden this paper starts to kind of move and spin, and then she moves her hand away from the paper, and it follows her and falls over. So she did this several times, so I know she's got skills. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say.
Well, that's pretty strong telekinesis, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I've seen people do telekinesis, and it's really hard to even move a piece of paper. So if the thing fell off the table, that's really powerful telekinesis.
Yeah. What do you guys think of that? What's his name? The latest master magician. What does he call himself?
Chris Angel?
No, the one that's come after him. Dynamite.
Oh my gosh, some of that stuff. I've seen how the stunts work, but some of it is not stuntable, and I think it's real.
Yeah, some of it has to be real. You know the backstory to that. Something about him going out in the woods for a couple of weeks, and he'd been bullied or something, and he went out in the woods there in England, and then comes back with all these magician powers.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that if you want me to.
Yeah,
my explanation of this is he has a what we would call a demon, and he has it captured, probably with a sigil or something, or some kind of magical charm. He has this thing captured like a genie in a lamp, and he can. Jinn. Yes, it could be a jinn, and he can, and that's what they do, and then they get this thing to do things for them. Yeah, humans.
I don't wish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So humans' psychic abilities are limited, but if you capture a demon or a jinn, they can do amazingly powerful things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. He's playing with fire.
Oh yeah, they're all playing with fire. These guys, they are playing with fire.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my opinion. Anyways, I don't know if that's what from what my research I've done, and I've really tried to figure this out because I wanted to be a magician when I was a kid, and I love magic. But I do think that's what they're doing.
I agree with you. I agree.
What do you think,
never even
Eric?
Heard of this guy.
Eric, what do you think of that? What I just said.
I'm actually looking for the video right now that I was going to post. So I
Janice, what do you think of that? What I just said.
She watches the people. What's the PC word for it? Not midgets, but
little people.
Little people, yeah. She watches the little people stuff. Sorry.
No, I do believe in the jinn. I guess I've lived with Alistar long enough that my mind has opened up a lot to different things, and especially the paranormal. And so I remember one time when he experienced a UFO, and we lived in another town then. I'll let him tell you about the actual experience, but when he came in, he was white as a ghost, and he was telling me about seeing this UFO, and I just thought he was drunk, because he had never reacted like that in front of me before, because this was many years ago. It was in the 90s. And so he did see a UFO because it was in the paper the next day that people actually saw it. Like one church, the congregation had just let out, and some of them saw it.
What did he see?
It was a huge UFO, and it came fairly close over where we lived. But before he saw it, the animals were going crazy. And he was just spending some time outside, unwinding from work, and it was dark. And so I'll let him finish it up.
Well, actually, she's got it kind of right.
Is it Alice Starr? Or Alice
yeah, it's Alistair, whatever you... Alistair, whatever you want to call me.
Okay. I was worried I was calling you the wrong name the whole show.
Oh, I don't really care what you call me. But, what happened with that UFO is, you remember I told you in the late 80s I had like a curtain lift from my mind and all of a sudden got interested in the subject? Mm-hmm. Remember getting into the show? All right, I got so involved in it, I would go out in the fields at night and lay down, and I would look up at the sky, the night sky, and I would say, come down and show yourself. I want to see you, please. Come down. Over and over. It went on for, about a year or longer, really. I mean, even in the rain, the mist, I would just go out in the fields and lay down and look up at the sky, and I would, emanate out of my mind up there to the universe. I would say, come down and show yourself.
Right.
Okay. Well, we moved to a new town, and I kind of forgotten about all that stuff, right? One day I came home from work, and I don't know why I did this. I just sat in the truck listening to the radio from about 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And now I only found out it was 9 o'clock by a ex or former state MUFON director, because he told me the exact time this happened and the date, because I wasn't sure about that stuff. What happened was about 9 o'clock, all of a sudden found myself in the front yard. And I don't know how I got there. And there was a strange cat at my foot going back and forth like it was on a yardstick. And it was scared. I mean, it was, just confused and scared, running back and forth like on a yardstick. And then I heard the cows in the pasture just go, wild with lowing or mooing. They were just going crazy. And then all of a sudden, my head tilted to the right. And as soon as my head tilted to the right and up a little bit, there it was. It was the most fantastic sight I've ever seen in my life, gentlemen. It just totally, it's something that's really hard to explain. It wasn't your classic saucer or triangle or anything like that. It was more like a ship of light, is the best way to put it.
What colors?
It was bright. It had an incandescent light to it that's really hard to describe. I've never seen anything like it before. It was about 100 feet long. It was ovoid shaped, and the edges of it were undulating, and it had little ovals on the inside of the main oval, if you want to call it that. Just little ovals and a gray mist. And another strange thing about it was it had an exhaust trail to it that was like little sparkles, but they weren't coming directly out of the whatever it was. There was about a 50-foot gap between the craft, if you want to call it that, and the little sparkle exhaust trail. Totally silent, of course. It was a quick, brief, but thorough sighting, and I was within about 200 feet of it. Treetop
200 feet?
Yeah, within 200 feet. 250, 200 feet, yeah.
That's like at the end of the yard or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was close, and my jaw dropped, and my first thought was to jump in the truck and try to follow it, but then I realized that where it was going was woods, and there were no roads there. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it myself. I even considered an hallucination for a minute, but I knew I'd seen it. And
what'd you do?
Well, I was in awe, man. I mean, it was like a paradigm shift.
Then you ran in the house.
And of course, I ran up and told her. I ran and told her. She didn't believe me. But then guess what happened? The next morning, the news comes on in the big city that was kind of near. It said, "What flew through the skies of such and such county last night?" And apparently the international airport had picked it up just briefly on their radar. And a church group had seen it about, I estimated, I talked to that guy later on, 4 or 5 miles from me. They were the first to see it. And
Did you watch it fly off, or did you just run inside?
Well, it just kind of, passed with, it was to the right up in the sky, about treetop height, a tall tree. It was just.
Did you watch it till it was out of sight?
Yeah, I mean, I got a full view from the beginning, my head tilted just at that right time to see it, just from the top to bottom to the end, I got a full view of everything, and it was magnificent. Oh, God.
Do you think it was there for you?
Look, for years and years, I resisted that temptation to think that because I thought, I'd be megalomaniacal. What's the word? Megalomaniacal?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to think something that magnificent would come down just for me. But I finally had to realize, put the pieces together and say, well, just maybe.
I think maybe too.
Yeah.
Break time, Wolfman?
Okay, yeah. I was actually. We have callers coming in, so after the break, we're gonna have open lines if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? If that Willie guy calls in, though, he and I are going at it. I just want you to know. Kurt, if Kurt's out there, I like Kurt because he likes the party. I could tell, and he's got that southern drawl going, so he's cool with me. Willie,
yeah.
you better
Awesome
bring it
at
if you're calling
Christmas.
in. You got to bring it, Willie.
Okay, well, we got a challenge. That's great. Okay. Now, I was looking for song requests, but nobody gave one, so I picked one out, and this is going to be Mike Oldfield and Bonnie Tyler. A song called Islands. I hope you enjoy this. Fantastic, baby. Yeah. Mike Oldfield and Bonnie Tyler. How did you guys like that one?
I did not like it at all.
You didn't like that one?
I didn't like it either. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
Throw that in the trash, brother. You're way better than that.
Come on. Why don't you bring it?
Okay. That's hilarious. Oh,
Maybe
well.
Janice liked it.
Yeah, she loved it. She loved it.
Okay. That's what we're here for. We're here
Yeah,
to please.
Well, that's right. You can't like all the songs. No one can like all the songs. That's why I play a big variety.
I love that. I love some of that music you were playing with. It. Is it Pasonic? How do you pronounce that word? Pasonic? Pasonic? The guy you had on recently? You know.
Oh, Jethro Tull?
How do you pronounce that word? Pasonic?
What was the song called on Jethro Tull's song?
No, I'm not sure what you mean, Pasonic or.
Oh, the fellow, with the energy balls and.
Yeah, Psionic.
Yeah, Psionic.
Ah, Psionic. Yes, he's got. Yeah, that's some originals of his I have here.
That's Adam's Shadow, right?
Yeah, I got one that's really good that we're working on. Oh man, that's a good song too. I forgot about that one. I'll try to find it, but
that's right. You're a musician too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if your karaoke Elvis is any indication, you're pretty good.
Yeah, you should play an original later.
Yeah, I could. If I find, maybe I'll play the Pyramid of Love at the end or something.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Okay.
So, Alistair, are you ready for Experience 3?
Sure.
Tell us.
Okay, Experience 3. Okay, where are we?
Boone Cave was the last one.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you one that. How about one that was a maybe, maybe not. It's a good story. How about one of those?
Okay.
Okay. I was a kid, 13-year-old, and my family would get out and visit an aunt and uncle that owned a motel in Georgia. And across from their motel was this big field. I mean, it went back for miles. There was nothing on it. Nothing. And I would go through those fields with a 22 or 20 gauge shotgun, just to stir up rabbits to hunt and think on things, as young boys are wont to do. And one day I was coming back from a hunt and I started feeling kind of strange. And then all of a sudden I noticed to my right this, like, I guess, Civil War looking cabin. I mean, it was like really from another century. And there were these, naked African American children running around in front of it. And there was this young woman, and she was very attractive. And she was sitting on a log, and she had like a turban wrapped around her head, and she had like literally a Civil War type or mid 19th century dress on. And it was just, the whole thing was unusual. And she turned as I walked by and smiled at me, and I smiled back at her. And then I kept on going. And just the whole thing was just very strange. I'd never seen, anything like that. And so, the next day or several days later, whatever it was, when I was back in those fields hunting again, I was kind of curious if I could find that place again, but I never saw it. And, so I've always wondered about that,
Every time you tell a story, I think of Wolfman in his stories.
Well, hey, some people have a lot of experiences, and some people have one or two. Some people,
Wolfman, tell them about your 1800s group in the cemetery that you saw.
Oh my Lord! Yeah, it was real quickly. It was a daytime sighting. Haven't talked about this for a while, but we were all hoeing tobacco in a field, and we saw these people walk down the road, and they must have walked about a mile. It was all flat ground. You could see them coming down this gravel road to this little old cemetery in the middle of our field, and putting flowers there. And then we realized that they weren't Mennonites. We thought Mennonite clothing, but no, that's 1800s clothing. What the hell are they doing? Some kind of a stage? Yeah. We thought it was some kind of a stage performance group or something. Right. We turned around and kept hoeing, and turned around again, and maybe not even 5 minutes later, they all disappeared.
Wow.
Just poof, gone. And
this was experienced by multiple people then.
Yeah, it was 11 people saw it, and they looked live as day, and they couldn't have walked in any direction without us seeing them. They had to. They walked down. They had to walk back, and you can see for miles in every direction. It's like a desert prairie there.
Wow.
So they couldn't have hid anywhere. They couldn't have gone anywhere.
No.
And they just disappeared in thin air.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the time, I don't know how to put it exactly. You know what I mean though, but like time is I don't know what I'm trying to say. Events of the past sometimes can leak into our present day reality, and we get glimpses of it or something like that.
I don't know. Like they're putting flowers on the graves, and when we went down there was no flowers there.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was
That's kind of confirmation.
No grass disturbed. Nothing was. There was no sign of them being in that little cemetery. There would have been, there's dried up twigs. They would have stepped on those dried up twigs and broke them, and we would have seen. Nobody goes in there much, so I tracked their area that they were walking. There was no ground disturbance at all.
Wow.
And they just disappeared. And they're waving to us. They're waving to us and everything. So I don't know what you call that. That wasn't like I don't know.
Yeah, I had a lady explain to me one time from Scotland that sometimes the past can leak into our reality, and we can see them, and then they can see us in their time and their reality. It's kind of weird, but
did they see you, Alistair? Did they wave or?
Yeah. The young lady that was sitting on the log watching the kids actually turned and smiled at me. It was a beautiful smile. She was very attractive. She was young. I took her as the children's mother, and the place just looked straight out of Gone with the Wind, man. I'm not kidding you. And this was like early '70s something. I'd never seen anything like it. And I'm not saying that was a paranormal event. It was just it was just nothing in those fields, and there's no roads, no houses, nothing. And I never could come on it again. So I don't know what to think, but it's just strange.
I like that story.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't claim it.
Hey, where's Kurt at? By the way, I thought Kurt was going to be on the show tonight.
He's still here. He's just waiting to talk.
Is Kurt there right now? Kurt, are you there? I think he went to get some water. Actually, he left a little message on his.
Okay, fair enough. He would fit right in right about now, though. I think.
Man, didn't you say that the people of the town used to see a ghost carriage with like a not a hearse, but like with the funeral procession or something?
A horse-drawn hearse would be seen when you're driving down this road. And it would disappear into vapor when it drove by you. And this was witnessed by several people down the same road. Yeah.
Where was this?
Right on the same road that little cemetery is on our farm.
No, that's in Virginia?
No, that's in Ontario.
Ontario? Okay.
Yeah, by Lake Erie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever heard the Stomp and Tong song, Tilsonburg. That's about that area. My back still hurts when I hear the word. Tilsonburg.
You mentioned something about a Virginia connection.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that settled there from Virginia, and they taught us how to grow tobacco. It's Virginia style flue cured tobacco that they make there.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
What did you say? Flue tiered?
Flue cured.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
You sweat the tobacco so it feels like it's still on the plant. To the leaves, they feel like they're still on the plant, so they yellow naturally, and then you trap that color by opening the flues. And when you mix cold air and hot air together, it force dries things out.
What's a flue?
It's like dampers on the. A flue is the way that the heat is circulated through the kiln, and the flue has dampers on it. When you open them and you regulate the intake and the output.
Right, like a flue on like a stove or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. I didn't even know that. And one side of my family were tobacco farmers. You taught me something. I didn't know that.
He's taught me a lot about tobacco farming. How long did you do that?
I worked in it all my life till I was probably 35, 40 years old.
Wow.
Do you miss it?
Oh, yeah. But there was no money in it anymore.
No. Nope.
Yeah, and A-hole skeptic says a flu is when you don't get your vax and you get sick, and you didn't get your shots and your vaccinations.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody I see that gets the vax gets sick. There's still something there I've noticed. I mean,
Alistair, do you have any more? You have 2 more stories, right?
Well, I got more than that, but we can talk about anything.
Just your stories for now, and then we'll ask you about the best stories you've heard and wrote about.
Okay, and I've heard a lot from credible people. Of course, I have a word for it. Their stories. There was one I wanted to tell you about.
Well, let's go to them then.
Okay, well, here's one real quick. I'm thinking of. A niece got married, and of course the men got banished from the baby shower festivities, right? So we all went to a restaurant, the men did, and I got to meet this really interesting older gentleman, and he'd been in the Army and this and that and all that. Anyway, the main thing was he used to, in the 60s, he was with the 101st Airborne Division. He was a pilot.
Okay.
And he was ferrying a bunch of new recruits. I think, it was Alabama. They were over Alabama. And all of a sudden, a UFO, I think he said it was dish-shaped, the classic UFO thing. And, the guys in the back, the new recruits noticed it, and everybody was just freaking out. They were shouting and yelling, They thought there was going to be a collision or something. And so the only thing he could think of to do was just to go low. Go as low to the ground as he could. And he said as he went low in the transport plane, the UFO followed him on the left side. Yeah, the left side. And then eventually it just kind of, took off. But he said those guys in the back, those recruits, were hooting and hollering, scared to death. And the co-pilot with him was so frightened by the experience that he never flew again. And I asked the gentleman, I said, well, did you report it when you got back to base? He said, no, didn't say a word.
Wow.
Yeah, and I said, a lot of pilots and military people are coming out now with their stories that they've had to keep secret or to themselves for decades. And he said, I'm thinking about it at the right time. I said, well, now's the time, in my opinion. But, that's just one of the interesting stories you can pick up from people.
Eric, are you there? You still there?
Kurt, are you there?
Have I put everybody to sleep?
No.
I'm here. No, I'm here. I was headed on mute, so...
Eric,
Eric, are you there? I got to scramble and grab the phone real quick and unmute.
Eric sent me a video of the Concorde flying and a UFO around it.
Yeah.
That was incredible, Eric. Did you?
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
It's pretty freaky stuff. Well, I didn't really study it. I mean, when I first got on Twitter, I was just obsessed with learning as much as I could about UFOs and aliens. So I spent like weeks just following everybody that had anything to say about UFOs and ETs. And then so now, whenever anybody posts anything, it just pops up on my feed. So I just instantly share it. But there's so much happening. I mean,
yeah, there is.
The bottom line is it's so real, and it's just obviously the fake news people are not talking about it, so we're here to talk about it. But
exactly.
To me, it's 100% reality. Anybody that tries to say we're crazy is just a moron, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
their problem, not mine.
Reality. I mean, it's out there now. So
the video on the Concorde. it was. They said it was the sunshine off of the camera, which was impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing was moving up and down, and it went behind it, and then would move at different speeds. And it was like what was it, 1977, like the first flight of this particular plane?
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
You just triggered a memory, because sometimes I listen to KGRA radio. Race Hobbs. I don't know if you guys heard of Race Hobbs. He's the main guy at KGRA radio. He's got a whole slew of great shows on his network. But he had a guy on a few months ago that was retired from the Navy, and what they would fly around out over the ocean, and his job at the time was to photograph whatever was happening, out on the ocean above where their submarines were, kind of surveillance. And
right.
this guy told stories. He didn't divulge his name, but he told stories about some of the photographs that he took out there, where he actually saw spacecraft and ETs in the spacecraft. Wow. And they actually took the picture, developed them, and took them into Moffett Field. Moffett Field used to be in Mountain View, but now it's so huge that they call Moffett Field, has its own town right there in the Mountain View, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, California area. It's Northern California, right in Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are coming out with disclosure. Sure. And it's leaking out. It's not, people think it's just going to happen all of a sudden one day on the newspaper. It's just not going to happen that way. It's just going to it's piece by piece. It's a puzzle. It's just coming together. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's out, man. I mean, I don't know. Let's just assume Roswell happened. Maybe they should, just should have announced it, at the very beginning, whenever they discovered. Some people say that Roosevelt knew about it with the Foo Fighters. He sent Jimmy Doolittle, the famous Air Force guy, to investigate the Foo Fighters during World War II. And Doolittle came back to Roosevelt and said, "Sir, our estimation is they're interplanetary aircraft, interplanetary devices." So who knows how long they've known about it? But to keep it from the public, it's just sooner or later, it comes out, and it's just everywhere. So. Have you heard of William Tompkins yet? Are you familiar with him? No, I haven't heard of William Tompkins. Mm-mm. Yeah, you do a Google search on that. He's been coming out. I think he's in his 80s or close to 90 now. So he's divulging stuff that he learned. Really? When the Nazis came over, in the 30s and 40s and so on, that technology that we were using, and I can't reveal who the person is, but a friend of mine that I tweet with, her grandfather worked in the same field with William Tompkins in the 40s and 50s, and she tells me, and I'm trusting that she wouldn't make this up, that we have been to the moon. We were at the moon and Mars in the 50s and the 60s. Wow. And so she's going to do when Grandpa dies. They're all sworn to secrecy, the whole family, but when Grandpa dies, they're going to bust out with a story, and so we will probably hear that story at some point here in the future. But until that time, that's how it is. The family's protected as long as they don't talk. Right. Assume if somebody. A lot of these guys, some of these guys that come out with disclosure. I've seen some videos. They're on their deathbed practically. Yeah. So they know they don't care anymore. It's like, what I'm going to tell you what it is. Yeah. And this is what. Can you imagine having to carry a secret like that all your life? I mean, it's not right. I couldn't do it. It's torture. That's mind control torture in itself. Yeah. It's just. The people on this planet have a right to know, and not some false narrative. The people of this planet have a right to know the truth. Yeah. But if we do, what do you think it'll be like afterwards? Well, it depends on who's the one telling us, I think. Exactly. Yeah, I'll stop there. Yeah. Because maybe it'll be Trump. Well, I don't know. Who knows? I don't think it's going to happen in the near future, personally. Yeah, I think it's already happened because
it's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. It's happening right now.
Yeah, it's happening.